Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And we're gonna review. We're gonna talk about No Life
Real
Forsaken.
Malazan fans have their books to lift up.
Yeah, who has the good cover? Like, anybody got the green cover?
That's
Because
the
I do not
UK
like
version.
the brown cover. The green cover
There's
is
a green
so much
cover?
better. Look at the two. Like, there is a green cover
Mhm.
that also has.
Well, it's the Bantam one, right? Which is UK Euro.
UK, yeah.
Okay.
I
I
Then
gotta
we all
say,
have
for anyone too who gets the Bantam one, you get a much nicer one because the Tor hardcover is tiny. It's a tiny book.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I disagree. I actually prefer tiny hardcovers to the big fat.
I just like
hardcovers.
the
I can hold
the
this
artwork
easier.
on the green one better than this one.
Okay, so I have the Bantam of God is Not Willing, and then here's the tiny Tor for
Yeah.
No Life's Forsaken.
Holy
I'm not-
crap, Philip.
I like the tiny tour. Let us know in the chat if you like the tiny tour better.
I don't think Philip has a problem with the tininess. I think he has a problem that the two do not match.
No, I think it's the tininess. Philip, is it the tininess or is it the matchiness?
It's
Tell us.
actually, I'm actually the matchiness doesn't matter to me. It's
Oh.
the tininess because
Right.
look, I am old.
Old
and I
eyes.
need
Yep.
bigger font, and Tor is cheap, and they gave me a tiny
Philip,
hardcover.
this
I can't
font
see.
is not small. This is
They
not
gave
small
it to
font.
you? Did you get it for free?
No, I had to buy it.
Oh,
$28 for a tiny hardcover. Come on.
yeah.
This is not small text. This is not
It's
like
not
Book of the
small text.
Fallen text.
It's
You
not
wait till
small
you get to be in your 50s. Then
Philip,
That's
you
why
cannot
I read
use-
it on
no.
Kindle.
Philip,
'Cause
You cannot use the
easier to
old
read.
excuse when right before we went on, you were like, "I was playing tennis out in the cold day."
True. That's
Either you're
true.
old or you're not. One of the two.
You're older, you're not.
Anyway, y'all introduce yourselves so we can get this on the road because we got to be done by 8:30 so that Philip can go to bed. All right, Johanna. I mean,
Hi.
next to me. Go ahead in a circle.
We're just introducing ourselves. Are we talking about the book yet, or?
No, you should introduce yourself and I guess talk about I don't know. Have you read all of Malazan? Hopefully, this isn't the first book you've ever read.
No. So I'm Johanna from Johanna Reads. I am known for betraying Alan on a regular basis, and and I am not new to the series of Malazan. I've read the 10 books in the Book of the Fallen. I've read Knight of Knives. I've read The God Is Not Willing when it first came out, and that was when we were all at ICFA and got to meet Stephen Erikson in person, which was really cool. And I've read this. Excited to talk with you all. I have not watched any of your reviews, by the way. I apologize. I wanted to make sure I filmed my own thoughts and not. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't
I did the same. I
cross-pollinate.
also waited, so
You
I
didn't
waited.
want to be
Okay.
tainted by us in any
Yeah.
way.
Not
I
until
should
now.
have watched. I should have watched Philip and AP's discussion first, so that I could come out with like the exact points that they were making. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, Alan is like super intellectual now. Like, what a new leaf he's turned over."
You actually watch it. We're just goofing off the whole time.
All right,
But I
next.
am going to watch all of them, all the discussions. So
Am I next?
Yes, it goes in a circle, Jimmy.
I'm from Chatting with Nuts. Happy to be here. I like this book a lot. I read all 10. I read like 2 Esselmonts, well, 1 Esselmont and a half. Yeah. Right, Alan?
Yeah.
Then I read The Guy's Not Willing. Then I read No Life Forsaken.
Right on.
I covered all. Did I get it?
Yeah,
You're bringing a real High Priestess Shemael vibe to this, like
bathroom.
on some substances, yeah,
Jimmy's bringing that low T energy
in a
tonight.
bathrobe.
I am in a bathrobe. That is true. That is true. That's a Chevelle thing to do.
Yeah.
I
For
mean, that's
sure.
true. That's true.
Do you have a secret assassin like waiting on you hand and foot at all? Is that happening?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
and you got the drugs, Sandy? Yeah.
All right.
Rid, quick before we get demonetized.
Hi, I'm Rid or Rhythma from Rid Book. I've read all of the Malazan books and God Is Not Willing in this one.
Nice. All right. I don't know. Old man, you're next.
I'm Philip, and I actually have read all the books in the Malazan world that have been published by both Erikson and Esselmont. It's my favorite. So, yeah. But
You read the new one, the Gistal one?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Forge of the High Mage. Yeah.
He probably already talked about it with AP at some point.
Oh yeah.
He certainly did.
Yeah.
Andy?
Hello, I'm Andy. I love Molassin as well. Alan, on a video we made recently, said that I suckle at the teat of Father Erikson. I think that's a fine thing to say. I'm okay
What
with
was
that.
the context of that statement?
Alan, you know that there's no context. You just say these things sometimes.
I promise there was context.
I read the main 10. I read the novels of the Molassin Empire by Esselmont, but I have not yet read his Path to Ascendancy. I have not read Carcanus.
Oh, you're
And
gonna
I've
love
read these two books.
tennis, Andy.
I'm so excited. I've been, I don't know how much longer I can wait. I've been like hoping to be able to like take it on where I can take them all at the same time and kind of like slow runway, but it's getting increasingly more difficult to wait.
He's well on the way of Walk in Shadow, right?
The news is he's finished the next one in Witness. And then I think, Philip, tell me if this is wrong. I feel like you're the closest to this. Then he is going to write or finish Carcanus, then come back and finish Witness.
That could be true. I actually am not sure. And because like AP can't talk about stuff like that. AP, who's in the chat, is an advanced reader. So AP doesn't tell me anything. He's such a terrible nemesis.
What a jerk.
Yeah, right?
I'm just going with your dynamic. I actually have not talked to AP, so I probably should not just jump onto this, but
all right.
That's fine. Alan, totally fine.
I've read Malazan up. I've read 1 through 7 multiple times. I've only read 8, 9, and 10 once. I read Knight of Knives, Return of the Crimson Guard, and God is Not Willing, No Life Forsaken. I think that's right. Yeah, cool. All right. So I guess non-spoiler thoughts for anybody who has read all the like. It's going to be, guys, if you haven't read like Malazan, like it's going to spoil all that stuff probably. But no spoilers for I guess this book. Just in case people want to watch this before, or I see non-spoiler thoughts before they actually get around to reading No Life Forsaken. So yeah, whoever wants to begin, and we'll just kind of roll it into a spoiler talk and then kind of go from there.
So we are not
not on spoiling yet. Just give kind of general thoughts about it.
We are assuming people have read the Molassin Book of the Fallen.
Correct. Andy, okay. Andy, why don't you start, since you think that God is Not Willing is a good starting point for the series, should you desire. What about this one?
I do think that's the case. I think so. No Life Forsaken, I really enjoyed. I don't think it is quite to the heights of The God is Not Willing, which I'm a huge fan of. It's the Molassin book that I've read the most at this point. I've read it 3 times. I haven't read any of the others that many times. And part of that is it's shorter. It's a more digestible read. But I think you get so much of what is great in Molassin in little bite-sized chunks, fun-sized chunks, so to speak, in God is Not Willing. No Life Forsaken is similar because it is also much more bite-sized. It's smaller. And you're kind of getting the more musing side of Erikson, particularly about religion. And on my review that I know, Alan, you haven't watched, is I say this feels to me sort of a pessimistic side of an optimistic God is Not Willing. God is Not Willing to me ends on a very much optimistic note. This one seems a little bit more pessimistic, which is a big part of the Molassin worldview, is that like there are just evil in the world that happens, and there's only so much that we can do to kind of fight against that impulse because it's very deeply embedded in us as humans. And it's a little bit more heady, I think, a little less funny Marini than the first one, but I still really enjoyed it. That's probably my short review of it.
Anybody can jump in. Y'all just go ahead.
I found this book to be really funny. I think I might have laughed. Well, Stillwater was pretty great, and The God is Not Willing. But I thought this book was maybe more comedic than the first one. But I guess that's just the way I took it. I mean, I really like this, and I felt like this was kind of like a lateral step I didn't really expect from this series, I guess, because now I feel like, went from 3 to 4 books. And I just keep thinking, well, maybe it could be 5, maybe it could be 6. Like I actually think there's a whole lot of like more story to tell, not just the new stuff, but obviously we had returning characters in this one in a big way that I thought was pretty neat. So I'm just looking at the scope multiplying, and I'm like, is this just another like proper like tier 1 kind of installment? It's like Abercrombie has his standalones, but everyone talks about the 2 trilogies. It's like, well, is Erikson doing another series essentially? Because that's what it feels like at this point.
I will amend my statement to agree with Jimmy that
thank you.
Skillin or however you say their last name, without spoilers, one of the funniest characters. Like that conversation was so funny. So
Oh, I agree. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was hilarious. I agree.
so funny. Like I like my spouse was like, "What? Why are you laughing so hard?" And I got kicked out of bed actually because I was laughing too hard while she was trying to sleep.
I forgot about them.
Like actually physically kicked.
I mean, like I was able to go back later when I was not reading, but I was laughing too hard at that scene. It was really funny.
That was funny. I agree.
Yeah.
Johanna?
Oh, okay. I like the book. I like the book. I would say it's not quite for me on the level that I love the 10 book series, but I still thought it was entertaining. It kept me engaged. So what I said I said a few things that I'll go ahead and give away in my wrap up that's coming up this week, which is that if the next book was published tomorrow, I would pick it up. I would pick it up right away. I do feel like it is setting up a lot of things. Like it's okay. I'm just gonna give this away. So in the prologue, there is a quote that I found extremely meta, and I won't give away a name that's in there, so I keep this spoiler free. But it says here, "This tale is about beginnings. In fact, the whole thing is about beginnings. Oh, I won't leave them all hanging. I'm not quite that cruel, despite opinions to the contrary. A few proper, right? A few proper endings, I promise. Enough to satisfy? Well, not everyone. No matter. The longer you live, the more faded this thing we call optimism." I got such a kick out of that, especially going back and rereading that. I went back and reread the prologue after I finished the book, and I do feel like that is saying a lot, because I feel like this book, it does feel like I felt very satisfied with some of what concluded in this book, but at the same time, I feel like it's leaving things hanging for something else. Like we're going to go further. One thing I would say about this book is I feel like the themes in this, definitely what Andy said, we're dealing with themes regarding religion, regarding faith. I would say it's going into this discussion about not only divisions when it comes to religion, but also division within the human soul, within the individual, and also about taking responsibility within that division of self, how a soul can be divided, and obviously relationships with gods, coercion, freedom overall, is freedom to oppress. There are certain themes like that. I did find those themes, and I'm sure this discussion is going to enrich my thoughts about these things. I found those themes a bit more overt than I'm used to seeing in Malazan, but at the same time, I found them a little more didactic than I've seen in previous Malazan books. But like I said, I have faith that this is going to go even further when we get the next book. And I was entertained. I had a good time. Fantastic female characters. Too many female characters that start with the name S, because that completely threw me off many times. But I had a good time. Especially loved the Sapper Fedalap. I think that was my favorite character in this book.
Cool.
Rid?
Yeah, I also love this book. The God Is Not Willing might be my favorite Malazan book of all of the ones that I've read. So this one had a lot to follow up, and I don't think I loved it quite as much as The God Is Not Willing, which I agree with Andy is like a very self-contained arc that you go on, and it's very emotional, and it's like the first time that I wept at the end of a Malazan book. So The God Is Not Willing was very deep for me. This one I felt like was like more of a fun jaunt. I agree with Jimmy. I think it was really funny. And I think it answered some really interesting questions that I have had since like Deadhouse Gates regarding world building, and especially, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but just questions regarding like people coming back from the dead in Malazan gets covered here. And yeah, the little tidbits that you get as to like the Warrens and how things work is really fascinating. And yeah, I'm going to stop rambling, but I really liked lots of different aspects of this book. So I'm excited to talk spoilers.
Nice. Philip?
Yeah, so just a little bit of information from AP that he shared when we had our discussion was, and this will be, I think, have some bearing on a couple things that you guys were talking about, Andy and Johanna particularly, but he mentioned that this was actually initially one book that got split into two. That so maybe you knew that already, but basically, yeah, this is a kind of, I think, a part one, and there is another, like, this will segue into probably the next book, I'm guessing, in some ways. But I loved this book a lot. I think I agree with Ridima, though, that for me personally, The God Is Not Willing had such an emotional impact. It was just a beautiful read in so many ways that it was a tough follow-up. This, for me, did not have as much emotional impact, but I agree also with Jimmy in that I found this to be a very playful read and comedic, but Malazan humor is pretty dark. So, you need that. The fact is, pretty much any Malazan story is going to explore suffering and pain. And one of the things I felt that was a little different about this one was there was perhaps a little more explicit exploration of, well, okay, how do you respond to the suffering and the pain? Do you have the capacity to decide what you're going to do with that? Okay, so life is not fair, right? My mother used to tell me that all the time. Life is not fair, because I'd always say that's not fair when she, punished me or something, But I feel like this is what's being explored for me. One of the themes, in addition to the ones that you guys all brought up, and I thought yes. And this one I felt was something Erikson was doing a little different in this one. Just the idea of, okay, well, how do you respond to the pain you're in? How do you respond to the suffering? And to me, I've always thought of Malazan as being a very affirmative. Yes, it is. There's a lot of darkness in here, which is why a lot of people try to categorize it as grimdark. But I don't think it is, because of that affirmation, the idea that you can decide how you respond to this pain, to this suffering. And you see that beautifully portrayed in probably my favorite character in this story, which is I share with Jared there. So yeah, that's my take on this.
I love that character too, by the way. Yeah. And actually, there's some really interesting things to say in regard to what you're saying, Philip, with that character in particular.
Big time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also like this. I don't love God Is Not Willing as much as everyone else seems to. I like God Is Not Willing fine. The problem is I'm not a rant enjoyer, and I mean, I love the stuff with the Marines and stopping the flood and the battle of what's the city? What's the city on the
Silver Lake?
Silver Lake. Thank you. Love all of that.
I love your rants, Alan. Come on.
I do love rant. I like ranting, but I don't like Rant or his mom. But I really, okay. So the first book of this, like the first 100 or so pages, like first five chapters or so, is some of my favorite Malazan stuff that I've read recently. Like it's I don't know why. Like I started this, and the first like 5 chapters, I was just like, okay, all right. And then it takes a little detour from where I thought we were going, and the reason is I saw a review on Goodreads where someone's like 5-star, boom, Erikson's back. He's like, my only problem with it is that it's a little more straightforward than I'm used to with Erikson. And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's your problem with it? Like that is, I love how straightforward those first 5 chapters are. Love Aaron Fell, love Bornu, like the stuff with Shaik.
Are we in spoilers?
No, but I mean,
okay, cool. Just a second.
Shaik is there. Read the back of the book, and then Bornu showing up, like all of that. Like I loved, and the rest of it I liked. And so it's about on par with God Is Not Willing with me. There are a couple things that I'm just like, I mean, okay. I mean, I love 7 cities. So whenever we're in 7 cities, that's my favorite of the continents, as we discussed in our last video. Andy, isn't yours Genabacchus?
That's the correct answer. Genabacchus is fantastic.
It's funny, I was a Genabacchus guy until this book.
Yeah, 3rd out of 3.
Oh,
Andy.
I mean, I love all 3, but this 7 cities is my least favorite. Anyway,
I love 7 cities, and I love the fact that we're mentioning that the book mentions my boy Coltane, and we're still having repercussions from the chain of dogs, which I love. But like you guys were saying, like I like the stuff about religion, especially the fact that the people in charge of said religion often have no idea what is happening in the name. It's like the Pope having no idea what the different branches of the church are even doing.
Yeah.
And then a mess, like if the Pope changes their mind and all of a sudden a bunch of Catholics are like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Like, who do we have to kill to not follow the edict that's come down from the Vatican? I really like that. And I also like, Philip, what you said about the stuff about unfairness and about how we like that stuff can be buried. Like, even if you're not outwardly displaying your own just rage at how unfairly you've been treated in the world, what can cause that to, come out, and what kind of person it takes to like sublimate all that kind of stuff. So I really liked that stuff, and I like trudging through 7 cities. And again, all that first stuff where people are getting shanked, and Fedalap and the other female sapper were
Pull crude.
females aren't sapper generally.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Pull crude. What a name! What a name!
I know.
You reached deep for that one.
So yeah,
There's also Corporal Gripcocker and Captain Hung. They're in the dramatis persona.
That's true.
He's there. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
oh my gosh. But yeah, Bornu. I think Bornu and Ehrenfell is naturally going to be one of my favorites because that's the kind of character that I like. But Bornu also. I also really like scholars when they don't stand around just talking about, I don't know, whatever a drag is.
Yeah, really weird for scholars to sit around and talk about stuff. Yeah,
Hey,
real weird, Alan.
That's fine, but
What
if
a
they're in
weird
book, why
character
are you-
choice to make.
Andy,
the,
Andy, shut your. Watch, hold on, I got it. Anyway, I like that Bornu is like he's at least taking an active role in the plot of the story, as opposed to just standing there looking at books. What happened?
Whoa, where'd Jimmy go?
Where did Jimmy go?
Solidarity, Jimmy.
Jimmy, come
Solidarity.
That's
Jimmy.
kind of a Malik Rel move there.
You
I know.
take one, you take all.
All I did was move Andy into the backstage. Jimmy,
That was a Malik Rel move.
I wasn't being tyrannical. I was just putting him in timeout. All right, well,
That's what all tyrants say.
there he is. Look at Jimmy in protest.
Thank you, Jimmy. Way to have my back.
Well, no one can hear you, Jimmy.
Give him back his voice,
I
Alan.
didn't take
This
it.
is
I didn't
Alan.
take it.
Alan is doing this, everyone.
Taking his voice away.
I did not mute him.
What? Oh yeah,
He's got to think. Look. His stunt caused.
Anyway, Alan, you were saying you like academics.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do. I really do like academic characters.
Good to know.
Sometimes they're not talking about things I care about, but when they are, I really enjoy them.
Aren't you also a Shamal stan?
I am a huge Shamal stan. Shamal is a funnier Krupp to me.
Shamal is very funny.
I thought Shamal was hilarious. I don't know if that was it was a bit, surely, right? Like Shamal's we're talking spoilers now, guys, so deal with it.
Oh, spoilers.
Okay, spoilers.
Yeah, we all went. It's a bit, right? Like Shamal, she's doing a bit like Krupp, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think so.
Especially when it's later in the book. So this is spoilers. Just like flicks people away.
Yeah.
It's like
I think
That was bad.
I think it's a bit like her like persona, but I do think she has sort of detached herself for too long. I think she makes mistakes. I don't think she is quite as Krups is like kind of all knowing in some ways. I don't think she's the same kind of that way. Because I do think she goes through a character. I think the end is a big character growth for her to take such direct action. But I think she's obviously much smarter and more powerful than at the beginning we are led to believe.
Is my
I'm
mic working
I'm not
now?
using this banner.
My
It's
bad.
just-
It is.
you're on.
Okay.
All right, cool. Sorry, Jimmy. What were you saying?
The last thing I heard was grip cocker, and then my computer literally shut off. Like it was so ridiculous.
I removed
Hilarious.
Andy from the chat because he was shouting at me, and so
Shouting.
you left right after.
Alan accusing other people at shouting at them. Irony upon irony.
Andy, this is the way I talk. Like I have Asperger's.
True.
So how about that?
All right. Pot calling kettle black. Anyway, keep going.
Anyway. Who wants to talk? What do you want to talk about first, as far as spoilers are concerned? Who has something burning that they want to discuss?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What happened to Mail between book 10 and now that he's so bad?
That's a good question. And if someone
His girl Pest got him riled
if
up.
one of y'all says Mail was never good, guys, stop. We've all read the first 10. Every one of us loves Bug. Like, don't be like, well, Mail's never really. Stop. Like, stop. No one wants to hear that.
But Alan, you're saying different names. Mail isn't in book 5. Bug is, which is an aspect of Mail. And then at points,
he's crippled God.
At points, Erikson uses the term Mael, and it's a much more vengeful god. Gods have a lot of.
That's the point. So if you know your mythology, you know that the ocean is both dangerous and destructive, and it is also a source of life.
Jimmy.
And so these are different aspects of this god that we're seeing. And when we see Bug, Andy is exactly right. Bug is not Mail. Bug is simply a form that Mail has taken, but a human form, which definitely changes the way Mail interacts. So
Alan, you like classics. Athena is the goddess of wisdom and war.
Jimmy and I aren't stupid. Let's assume Jimmy and I know that. All right, let's just assume that. We're talking about why is Mail in this persona seem like he is so different from the Mail we have seen before. Like, it's a stark contrast is what Jimmy and I are saying.
I'm assuming something's happened.
You actually should read Path to Ascendancy, because you're going to get the answer to that question.
Of course.
Philip.
So it is
Philip, he's going to get so mad. He's going to be so mad.
If
We knew
you
this was
read
coming.
Path to Ascendancy, particularly Forge of the High Mage, you're going to actually get some real insight. I kid you not, into the question that we're exploring.
Hold on, isn't Path to Ascendancy about Shadow Throne and Dancer becoming like ascendants?
Forge of the High Mage deals with, I don't think it's a spoiler to say this, with actually Malik Rel and other characters, but Mail appears in Forge of the High Mage, and you get I think some really important insights into Mail as a god.
So is that why? Because Malik Rel like douched him around?
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to get too into it, but yes. Yeah.
Right.
That's part of it. Yes.
Okay.
All right. At least there's an answer somewhere.
Yeah, that's all I wanted.
There is an answer. There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either. Yeah.
I didn't. All right. Thanks for bringing the knowledge, Philip.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier about the what's the word? Redemption? Resuscitation?
Grip cocker with the word.
Resurrection.
Yeah. Resurrection. Yeah. So resurrections in Malazan have always been a point of contention for me. Like going back to Deadhouse Gates when Duiker comes back to life, it's always been like so wildly inconsistent to me, like who gets to come back. And in this book, there's like one line about how Hood is a really like he would let people through the realm of the dead, and now Whiskey Jack and he has like his whole army are like they have a strong grip on the realm of the dead, but there's still people coming back from the dead. So is that something like what's up with that? I'm curious if that's like is that like a missing lore from Carcanos, or is that something that's going to be explored more in this series? What do you guys think?
Idea. I was wondering the same thing.
You mean like Solana specifically in this book?
Yeah, the people who don't make it to.
You mean Zatala?
Zatala, sorry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Wheel of Time character named Satal Anan. And for like half this book, I was convinced that was actually a Malazan character. And I was like, she was in one of the books. Then I was like, no, this is a completely different character.
Philip, what's our answer?
Well, I mean, Satala is, I think it's Ehrenfeld that places her in his little pocket war in there, right?
Which I love.
It's like a freezer or whatever, and somehow she ends up in the Azath, right? And of course, we know that Azaths can be places where if you're mortally wounded, like, I suggested for you, Alan, because you mentioned that you have an Azath in your backyard.
I do.
So if you're ever mortally wounded, you can actually go inside your Azath and just like hang out there, and because you won't die inside an Azath.
But didn't she already die? Like,
I'm dead already, so I actually don't. The real answer is I don't know. I'm just making
Look at Philip. just
floundering.
time.
So confident.
Look, that is one thing. Like her death, that's one of the things in the beginning that I really like. Like what's the girl's name? What's starts with a P?
Pash.
Gosh. Oh, I love that scene.
Just like
Yes.
stabs her right in the chest out of nowhere.
On a
I
rooftop.
read it twice. I was like, am I reading the right thing?
I did the same
So
thing. I
awesome.
went back and read it again.
I
It's
thought that
also
was
like
so
a great
cool.
callback to Gardens of the Moon
Yes,
when
I
Paran
had the
gets
same
stabbed.
thought. Yes.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah,
It got me so excited. I had the same thing, Red. I got excited thinking, oh, this is like a reminder of Gardens of the Moon and how awesome that was.
It's like
7
the
years
first
ago.
indication that that Pash is a assassin, like out of
master
nowhere.
assassin.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was
Which
awesome.
I thought also the fact that she is so anonymous. There's
Mhm.
I feel like there's a message behind that too. That this is a world that is actually very cruel to people like Pash.
Yeah.
And even though outwardly she's very just sort of like kind of eerily calm, there must be a kind of rage inside, having been treated so horribly, and that seems to be part of why she so indiscriminately kills. And of course, there's her sort of weird attachment to Shamal, who was kind to her. There's something kind of pathetic about her character there.
I also want, wasn't she described as looking a little odd? Am I remembering that wrong?
Ordinary.
Yeah, plain.
I just thought she was
Just
nondescript.
plain? Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing I really like about the beginning section is Fellison Younger, or Shaik. She's become so just gluttoned on worship and the trappings of a god. Like, so she's completely immobile, like almost comatose with her Jabba the Hutt status. And I forget what brings her back to awareness, but she slowly comes back to awareness and gets smaller and smaller and smaller until she can, move and take care of herself. And then she decides to pass down the edict. Like, hey, why are we not taking care of our followers? Like, why are we not in every city taking care of the poor and the downtrodden? Why? Like, I need someone to come here and go be my emissary to all the churches and summon them before me, so I can figure out why that is not our primary goal. And we see that everywhere in none of the temples and none of the churches, the temples, are doing that. Like, none of them are caring for the poor. In fact, her bishops, if I can just keep using the Catholic metaphor, are, growing fat off of their flock, if you will. And I like how they're all just like, what? And the one guy, her main high priest or whatever, before Bornu, comes in and is planning to kill her. And she just like
gets that poison down him.
She force chokes him, and he just.
Sometimes the displays of power in Malazan are almost like world shattering, because you're so it's.
Alan, you're actually turning red.
I know. That's for the bit.
I looked over and was terrified.
Yeah.
But yeah, the display of power, and then at the end with Shamal, it is like, it always shocks me because I'm so it's conversations back and forth, a lot of kind of reading between the lines with dialogue, and then force powers, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot.
That's awesome. Like when
I love it.
You don't expect Shamal to use it, and
No,
she's
I did not.
It was awesome.
That was amazing.
Now, let me ask you.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Did we? Okay. So one thing I thought was interesting in this book was this all-male love triangle. I always love to point out love triangles, by the way.
That was going to be my question, is concerning that.
Okay. No, that was actually a question I had too. I actually reached out to Alan when I was reading this because it, I got that there was a plot against Aaronfall between Malik Rel and Incarus, the adjunct. But I kept on asking, why? Why?
My
Especially,
answer,
yeah. Go ahead.
It was like Steve said in the comments on the other video, where I know, like, he's like, Alan, you know the history. I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Roman emperors
why I
have
had to
kill
ask
Roman
Alan.
generals if they get too popular.
Especially competent Roman generals.
They
See,
get
like,
rid of-
I guess
they
for
get
a
rid of generals.
lame, non-historic reader like me, it just washed over me. I was confused. Like I get that this is happening, but I don't really understand why. So Alan had to school me.
He's a threat to the throne.
My question
That's it.
is, how on earth did Incarus get the job as adjunct? Like, following on Lorne and Tavor, Incarus mopes about his boyfriend the whole time. Like, what did he do to, like, what is Rel doing? Really? Incarus is the best you've got? Like, you need to look to Lacine with Lorne and Tavor, because Incarus ain't it. Like, he's mopes the whole time.
I feel like he just had a couple bad days there, you know, like,
okay, well, that's all we see.
He got all the big, like, mosquito bites and, you know.
Oh, poor guy. Tavor led an entire army of children across a wasteland and then had to summon the sea right when everyone was dying. I'm sorry that Incarus got some mosquito bites. You're right. That's way worse, Philip. He had it tough.
I thought it was interesting too, because he's like, I was supposed to assassinate you to Erenfall, and he's like, I know. I'm like, we've all known this. That's the beginning of the book. But
what is Incarus doing? And
yeah,
then,
I don't know.
Is that how it works? Like, if the bodyguard gets promoted to adjunct in the
That
field?
was
Well, he had the
that was weird.
honorable sword already, and that's part of the job, isn't it? So, yeah.
I mean, I guess. Haviland's not any better.
No.
But I thought his grief was interesting because he obviously, though he couldn't openly acknowledge that he loved Incarus as well, he reacts very emotionally to Incarus's death, and he blames Erenfall, even though I think somewhere deep down he knows it's really not his fault, but he wants to blame him, you know, and he initially tries to kill him, and then there's a bit of an understanding, but then again, he's very quick to go back to that emotional reaction there. So yeah, there's some tragedy, really, I thought.
And it says that at the beginning too, in that more meta section, that this is also about grief. So yeah, I think that definitely played a role there.
I love Erenfall. I thought he was
awesome.
My favorite of the new characters.
Yeah, he's great.
Great
Do
name.
y'all know who he is? The internet's like, it's Grub.
You mean like who his father is or who he is?
Who he is, or who his father is. Do you know?
Yeah, he mentioned his father twice, I think.
He mentioned his father was it seems like of the Red Blades, or in some part of the rebellion.
I thought he was part of Corporal O'Dom's group.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a general in Corporal O'Dom's army.
That's right.
Anybody go back and read Deadhouse Gates to figure out who those generals are?
No.
I mean, I'm sure that we don't have like a clear answer at this point. No. I mean, it could be Dom himself. We don't know.
The internet says it's Grub.
Isn't Corporal O'Dom blue though?
Yeah, he's in Napan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't really know how Napan genes work, you know.
That's true.
Oh, they talk about that in the book.
Incarus is Napan. He's blue.
Actually, Andy, if you read Blood and Bone, no, I'm just
I've read Blood and Bone. You can't pull that on me. You should have gone Carcanus.
Oh, that is one thing I will say for anybody who's not read this. Everyone has. It's spoilers by this point. I really struggled with the Carcanus references.
What? I don't even know what are the Carcanus references.
There's
is that the Azathani stuff or
Carcanus.
something else?
Is it the Azathani stuff?
Gray Shore is a Carcanus reference.
Oh,
big time.
But like I didn't get that, and I didn't feel like I lost anything because so often in Malazan, though, you're just like, here's this person. They've been in the Azath house for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Get to know them.
Andy, it is different when no one knows, because this is the first time we've introduced this, then that information is there, and I just do not have access to it. I mean, I don't see that there's a functional difference, except for the fact of how it makes me feel, which is irritated.
You have Amazon. You can order the book, Alan.
You're right.
No one's stopping you.
You're right. All I do is sit. I'm a teacher. I don't do anything all day, and I get every holiday and Christmas off.
You don't have small children.
I should just sit there while I hand out my worksheets and go ahead and read all 1,300 pages of Carcanus, the first one.
Great. We're on the same page. Good.
All right, good.
Right. AP made a comment, which actually is surprisingly sensible. The Gray Shore character should still be understandable if you remember Memories of Ice and the Jagged Children in The Rent.
Is he one of the Jagged Children?
No, but he was put in a similar position. Let's put it
What?
that way.
When?
In Carcanis.
When?
I don't remember that part of Memories of Ice. I can't remember back that far.
I remember
so
Jagged
It's been a few
that's-
years now.
in the
I
Rent.
remember that. I just don't remember Gray Shore being there.
He wasn't.
No,
The
he
same
wasn't
thing.
in that same Rent. This is a different Rent. But it's the
Wow.
thing you do.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So when you have a breach, as it were, into one of these magical realms like Starval Demolain, the one for dragons, a way to fill it is to like basically stick a soul in there, a person who has to fill that gap, which is what happens in Memories of Ice to who's the crazy jagged who
The Panny Seer?
Panny and Seer was as a boy was done to him, right? So and a Gray Shore, similar thing happens in Carcanis.
Yeah, and a similar thing happens in Toll the Hounds, Alan's favorite book, with Dragnapur and Chaos.
I don't hate Toll the Hounds. There's too much Kalik.
You can't go down this road.
I know.
It was a cool character, though. I did like Gray Shore. I also liked the Forkwell Assail aside.
Oh yes, in the Azath.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I loved that character. Another scholar. There you go.
What did she say her name should be? Was Pedant?
Is it Paucity or was
No.
that
Pedantry?
Pedantry. Yeah, she said my name should have been Pedantry.
Oh,
Yeah, she was fun.
I liked her.
I do think, Alan, kind of what you're saying, the structure of this book, I think, is a little odd. And probably that's part of like they have like divided these up. But it is sort of like it's similar to The God Is Not Willing. It feels like the first 5 chapters, it's going to be this really contained, miniature rebellion. And then really, there's not even like a second and third acts. But like the rest of the book is kind of like this long sort of episodic pilgrimage that Born New Blot is going on. And then a couple odd episodic things like the Azath Hold or House, and then the coming back from the dead. And then at the end, it kind of all comes together. And specifically the Born New Blot storyline, we get, I think, a very satisfying conclusion. But it's not, the structure is a little odd, I think, just to kind of agree with your point.
That's a really good description of the structure.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Andy.
Yeah.
Is like, and it's not that I did not like the rest of the book. It's just like that first section. Like I thought this is where we were. I'm like, yes, okay. Like I'm ready. Rebellion, rebel, 7 cities, rebel, please. And then they just kind of mutter about it for a little while. Gray Shore and Satala are Great Value brand, Karsa and Sam Ardev. Well, someone's got to serve the Karsa role in the
We'll give them time, but that's a tough duo to measure up to.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll come across a massive caravan and free all the slaves. We'll see if they can get it done.
Jimmy,
Yes.
what do you have to say spoiler wise?
Spoiler wise, I guess mine. I also have a question. I felt like the end of this was just way more tame than I was kind of expecting. I've come to expect Erikson to light off every single firework he has, and we did get resolution. Like the Born New Blatt stuff was awesome, probably my favorite resolution in the book. But it's very clear like a lot of characters needed to be introduced to us here because they have some other stuff to do, I would assume, in the series. And I don't know. Like, how did you all feel about the ending? I mean, the Shmuel, I keep saying it 8 different ways.
Either
Shamal, we'll go with Shamal. I like that. Her little ending scene, awesome, loved it. Fellis and Younger's end, very sad. So it's not like I didn't like the ending, but it just didn't feel as elevated, I guess.
It's a unique Malazan book in that the whole point is to avoid a convergence, because you've got the stuff going on with Mail, which combined with the stuff going on with Vash Shaikh, there's some major problems that could develop here. So they actually, as someone just in the comments just brought it up as well, the whole point is to stop the convergence this time, rather than have one blow up, as you say, because
Yeah.
then we're used to Erikson, as I thought you put it really well, lighting all the fireworks there at the end. So this was a bit of a different thing. You know, he likes to do that, you know, change it up, I think.
I still thought it was very climactic and satisfying, though, personally. I mean, maybe that's a hot take, but I felt excited when I got to that part and with how that resolved. I guess the stand-in word in this book for convergence is apocalypse, trying to prevent the apocalypse from happening, from male flooding and from Bashayik taking over. And I thought it was also interesting that there was so much about Bornu Blat and his internal pain that she's charging herself or energy on, the rage of him being like this injustice of how he's been disfigured's the wrong word, but he's been given this body and this image that is less than appealing. I just thought that was interesting because I don't feel like I read a lot of books that explore the male perspective of physical aesthetics as much as female stuff. So I thought that was an interesting place.
Too, that whole dialogue between Hayes and Fenway, which is, of course, we all know as Quick Ben, and Bornu at that part at the ending was just very moving for me. And that's the part I was talking about earlier in the non-spoiler part of our discussion about you have the ability to respond to your pain, to your suffering. That's very important. And I feel that we have the free will, the capacity, if you want to put it that way, to decide, okay, what am I going to do with this now? Do I become bitter? Do I let this fester and do I become a hateful person? Or like Bornu, do I go around trying to be a compassionate person? No, AP is making fun of me because it took me like 2/3 of the way through the book to realize that Hayson was actually Quick Ben.
Someone had to tell me too. They're like, look at his name, Alan. I'm like, oh, I was saying Haston. I wasn't treating it like a word. I was like
Hayson, Quick, Erikson.
Yeah. It was when he did the Quick Ben thing of like multiple Warrens at once, and I think someone was like, "Wow, who could do that many Warrens?" And I was like, "Okay, that's in this world, that's Quick Ben."
Yeah. And one more thing I want to say about Bornu Blat, which I found so interesting, is if you look at the epigraph in, I think, the beginning of book 1, which is all about faith requiring humility and trust and mystery and religion being a barrier against that. I found that really interesting that we get that perspective on faith. And then we meet Bornu Blat and he doesn't have, or he proclaims, I do not have faith. I am not a person of faith. And I felt like he was the most humble character. So it's almost a counter to that epigraph, which I thought was really interesting. I liked that. So I just wanted to add that part too.
Oh, Johanna, on my review, I go kind of in depth because I think that epigraph at the beginning is a real good cipher for the book as a whole. That faith is both humility and trust. And I think each major character is struggling with that. And my read on Bornu Blat is that he does have great humility, but he just can't find something to trust, which I think is so fascinating in the Malazan world. Because when we talk about religion, sort of in our world, we talk about faith. Usually it's about like metaphysically, like, is it true that what this religion says about God or what this religion says about God? But in the Malazan world, the gods are real. They act. We see them. So it's not necessarily just like a metaphysical, these beings are real. It is an issue of trust. And so I think the Malazan can elevate some of our discussions on faith because I think trust is something that should be talked about more and where that brings you in your faith. And that's why the end. I mean, when I talk about this being pessimistic, I do feel part of this, a big theme here is like, we cannot completely escape apocalypse because we are the apocalypse, right?
Yes, the seed of the apocalypse is within us. Yeah.
So all we can try to do is like stave it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then specifically in like religion, like how can faith help stave that off? And I think like the answer in Erikson's worldview is like not perfectly. Sometimes it can add to the whirlwind. And here's one instance where, as Philip said, people made correct choices to have kind of a true, humble, trusting faith that was able to stop it. But other people didn't, right? All those cultists who died. The goddess herself, I think at least part of me wanted the goddess herself to kind of realize this and change. but then the ending kind of pulls the rug out from under her. At least that's me. I had kind of trust in the goddess. Then she's like, no, she's going to be the one to destroy. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I think like it's so interesting that religious aspect is just in each character is attention in different ways.
Just to quickly add to what you said, Andy, because I thought it was very profound and beautiful. To me, it also matters that a turning point for Bornu-Blat is when he realizes, sees that Salabi actually does love him back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And that fits beautifully with what you were saying about trust, I think, as well. That is what enables him to take his pain away from the goddess and say, no, you can't do this with this. It's mine. And I don't want to respond this way to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to add to that, and that's beautifully foreshadowed earlier on. What's the name of the claw bodyguard that is with Bornu-Blat?
Gillikas.
Yeah. At some point,
I love that guy.
At some point, I think it's little Ikarium, Ikarium's rage boy. At some point, says like it's so sad to give your love to a cause rather than a person, and then that's mirror. Like his ending is very sad because of that, right? Like he dies sort of like uninspired end, whereas Bornu-Blat gives his love to a person, and that allows him to like have this more fulfilled faith and hopefully like.
Good catch, Andy. That's cool.
I really like that.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I also love this other epigraph. I'm sorry, I'm just talking. I should let somebody else talk. I'll save some thoughts.
No, talk to
No, go for it.
Hold on. I just want to make
I was going to say,
real quick.
Sorry, what?
Before moving on, I just want to say something about Bornu.
Go ahead.
If I can. The conclusion, Bornu's conclusion was my favorite, mostly because it came out of nowhere for me. Like I knew that Vashaik was going to like use somebody. I did not know it was going to be Bornu, because Bornu had given me no indication that he's harboring all of this all of this subsumed rage and bitterness and injustice. And it makes sense. Like we've been told, he was ugly and how he was treated, and that's why he does his stuff with his books and everything like that. And then for Vashaik to take hold of him, I thought he was just bringing her. Like I didn't know that she
I was really sad.
Yeah.
And use all of that, and that. That's something that we all have it. Like imagine all of the, the petty grievances that build up into that just apocalyptic whirlwind that, just think about all the things that we do on a daily basis out of hurt. And we hurt people, hurt other people. Like we hurt other people. It's a microcosm of the whirlwind. You know what I mean? Like us being damaged by things that have happened in our past that we then use to damage other people. And it just took, I was like, what is born? Like, what? Like, it was like that. And, he walks in the city, and the second he walks in, she grabbed him. And I thought it was awesome.
That's really well said. Yeah. Yeah. I feel, like I said, I feel like this was very reflective of our own inner apocalypse. I know we already talked about that, but our own inner rage and our own responsibility in the matter. And I think that is probably part of the affirmative message that Philip is looking at in the story, I would say. But it's also sad. There's this, it's reminding me of the one passage between Vashaik and Satali, the one who, I'm so sorry, I got the S names all mixed up in this book, but the one who is in love with Bornu-Blat. Vice versa. There was this one part where I guess younger Fellowson was talking about, or she was channeling the memories of Fellowson, of Deadhouse Gates, and of what Bidethal did to Fellowson Younger, and then Satali. Sorry, I'm going to say that wrong, but she was saying, oh, we did this. She said the word we did this horrible thing, and she says we, and she said, yeah, that's. Basically, instead of blaming society as something external out there, it's more about looking within and seeing our part in that. But it's also interesting because that's a character that you would never imagine to have any guilt or any responsibility when it comes to that. But it's like what Alan is saying. I feel like there's this undercurrent that we might all have that we're not, it's easy to numb ourselves to or not see, or I feel like that's coming to the surface with that storyline at the end.
I love that. And I just add, like, in a meta sense, right? Because this is like a the consequences of Karsa like series. Like in the first one, we obviously saw all of his destruction. And then when he went to 7 cities, Karsa is looking for something to kind of be a part of after his like slavery journey. And he attaches himself to this cult. And eventually he does kill, Bithadal and like kills them, but like doesn't really take, as you said, like kind of the responsibility and like the taking accountability for the wrongs that were inspired. He just kills and leaves. And in his mind, that's maybe like a heroic action or like a just action, but there's no restoration involved. And so I think this is dealing with the outcoming of that.
Isn't that kind of what this whole like series is about? Karsa taking responsibility for nothing. Like Karsa's like, isn't Rant on his way to like show him a thing or two for taking, no responsibility for his godhood, no responsibility for the swath of destruction he cut through Silver Lake when he was, heading down that way. Yeah. Like, isn't that like at large what Karsa is? Poor Karsa. I don't know why I feel bad for him, but
it's true that what Andy was saying, vengeance is not enough.
Yeah,
it doesn't restore Fellison younger. It does really nothing for her. Yeah.
And it's so profound because in almost all the fantasy we read, this is too broad, but like it's about beating the bad guy, right? And I think Erikson really wants to hammer with this series, and he does it in The Fallen as well. Like, you can't just beat the bad guy. Like, there's got to be justice done in the world, and it takes a lot more work than just putting a sword into somebody or something.
Or ripping off his balls and stuffing him down his throat.
I mean, that's
well said.
That's the problem with deconstruction in general. Deconstructing without an alternate vision of what to build is not useful. Like tearing something down without an alternative just creates chaos and anarchy. Yeah. So, I mean, you've got to have somewhere else to go. You want to tear this down? Cool. What do we build instead? What, Jimmy?
Yeah. I just said seems relevant. So.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah, absolutely. And Erikson does have, Alan, we talked about this just recently, but Erikson does have characters that are just cynical, that are just like, don't believe, like, I think Clip, right? Like, just like completely like.
Is there a character in all of Malazan?
They're the worst. Like, I do think Erikson is very cognizant that some people can take, his approach to stuff as being like, nothing matters. And, he's like, that's definitely not what he's getting at.
Yeah. I like Malazan because, and some other fantasy series do this also, but like you said, Andy, very few deal with like the morning after. Like, we beat the bad guy. Okay, what now? What next? What has all of that war wrought upon the land? How do we deal with the dead? Where do we go from here? And I think Erikson does a really good job with that.
Yeah, and does this cycle continue? Yeah.
Clearly it does.
So, Alan, would you rather hang out with Clip or drink Kellic?
He broke. He had to reboot.
Red, do you have any spoiler thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think several things. First of all, I was thinking when you guys were talking about the stuff about like the parallels between this book and The God Is Not Willing, because this is the sequel to The God Is Not Willing, and even though it seems so different, I feel like there are so many beats that get touched on here that are the same as The God Is Not Willing. For example, I read this book as sort of like the exploring the intersection of religion and slavery. And I think that this series in general and Karsa's storyline deals with slavery quite a lot. And the way that Vashaik takes over Bornublat's body at the end, I think can be like a metaphor for religion and slavery. And there's a quote in the book where it talks about how it's not gods who enslave other people, it's other people. And how like a lot of the conflict in this book is just humans and like human versus human. Like obviously the male flood at the end is there, and like that's like the natural disaster, but like all of the events here happen because of human miscommunication. Like the whole Hadalin, Inkara, Solat situation is all just miscommunication. And like, it's kind of funny because that's like a common romance trope miscommunication, and I actually really like how it's used here in this setting. It's very interesting. And the other thought I was having is about Icarium. And earlier today, I was thinking about the fight between Icarium and Karsa that gets arrested before it actually happens. And Icarium shows up in this book in several ways, obviously mute. And then Aaron Falls Warren and Quickben's Warren is like, he's like time traveling, Acenthenu in the prologue. And I was thinking about how the end of The God Is Not Willing, I was really confounded as to how Rant turned back time. When I think that's what happens at the end of The God Is Not Willing. He turns back time in order to save everyone from the flood. At least that's how I read it. Hopefully I didn't just make that up. But I think that is like an Icarium thing. And I almost find it interesting to think of this series as like the playing out of Icarium versus Karsa in a way, or just like how Icarium's impact is still like rolling around the world.
Yeah, I was excited to talk about Icarium stuff, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Do
I think Icarium's like the biggest character in the series to me. Like he's the most like powerful, the most interesting, at least like stuff going on with him now. So I'm glad that you brought this up. And if I'm right, like, so Icarium is kind of the pathway for the new Warrens, right? Whereas like the other ones were cruel, right? Cruel or whatever.
Are they called runts because of Mappo, or is that just a coincidence?
Oh, it has to be for Mappo, right?
It has to, right? Like they're related to Icarium and Mappo runt, like, right? Like they have to be.
Oh, I did not even put that together. I thought it was just kind of a weird name that stuck, but that could be right. Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're called runts because they're new and small. But
yeah, like small corn.
Yeah, and it also seems like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay, because all the Marines are now mages. I don't remember that being the case in Malazan, and it seems like more people have magic now. So like the runts are smaller, but it's like almost more democratic, where more people have magic. Like Pash, for example. Does Pash have magic? I might have made that up, but just in general.
I think she is Shadow. I think, yeah.
Yeah. I almost thought that Pash was Apsalar for a second. Like I was wondering if we had seen her before, but that's a tangent.
I think, and I caught this in my like second reading of God Is Not Willing, but like now all Marines are mages. That's kind of like how they have structured the army. Right. And I do think part of that is they're not as strong as mages of the past, right? There's no like Tyshreen and Quick Ben, but it does seem that the magic, what Icarium's done with the runts, has like democratized, probably isn't the right word, but like spread magic out a little more than it was in the like strict Warren system of Karul. That's my reading. Philip, you're like the lore master here, I feel like.
I don't know about that, but I agree with you. And this is all a consequence of Icarium's, the explosion of his machine in Reaper's Gale, right? And then later in Dust of Dreams, we have Icarium kind of there with all these different voices that he's going around with. Remember in Dust of Dreams, I think that was the incident that started the creation of all of this new way of having the Warrens and everything else.
And then Perrin, as Master of the Deck, does something to direct it, right? In Crippled God, my details are sketchy. Something happens there he's able to like create the new thing.
Jimmy, when we were reading it, we're talking about Icarium. Isn't Mute the rebirth and reincarnation of Icarium's rage? And Jimmy, weren't we talking about how, or were you saying that Mute is Icarium's like rage without justice, or without like without the other, it's untempered by Icarium's other qualities, right?
Yeah, it's like it's just straight blind rage, and he dies. And that was my only like disappointment in the book, is when he died. I was like,
interesting thing is
he's in the Azath. He didn't die.
I thought he died.
He died. I don't think he dies in the Azath. He dies
by an Azathanai.
Yeah, the Azathanai kills him.
Oh, okay.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's
the
dead.
interesting thing is, what is Icarium going to be like without his rage? You know,
Mm.
But isn't Ikarian like doesn't it stand to reason that there's another random child somewhere that's been
I would
reborn
imagine.
with Ikarium's other quality?
other Ikarian. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
What do you guys think was Mute's place in this story? I honestly was like,
Well,
to tell
not
us that
super drawn
Ikarium's
to
being
that.
reborn places?
I think that's part of it.
Oh,
I
I got
also think it's a good parallel from Rant and Karsa, right? We were just talking about Ikarium versus Karsa. So it's kind of
Well said.
like, hey, there's another generation coming, and then like kind of subverting that. I just thought Mute was so interesting. Like when I read that piece, that was like the most hype I was the whole book, because it was like the embodiment of Ikarium's rage. Like that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. And then he just dies. And you know, I'm sure there'll be
Owned
something
by
to it.
some chump.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, like maybe I don't know. You know, I hate to say that I think the story would be more interesting with him alive, but I kind of wonder if the story would be more interesting with him alive. Not that it's not interesting, but
It's so interesting, especially being channeled through a child too.
Mhm.
and it was like he says like I have a father to find, and so it's like, oh, so this like you said, like it's Rant, and but then it's just done.
Why are there so many Azathanai everywhere? Like there's like an Azathanai, there's like Dollar General, like on every corner. In everyone's basement, there's an Azathanai just hanging.
The Azath house, right? The Azathanai are like the beings behind the Azath.
Yes, that's
Like,
what I'm saying.
well-
There's like 5 of them in this book.
Philip
That
said I was
gets-
wrong.
No, I mean, that's the impression that I always had until this book, which is I think there's a point in the book that suggests actually the Azathanai are basically just trying to claim the name. They aren't really that related to the Azath. But if you, again, I hate to be that guy, but if you really want to know more about the Azathanai, you got to read Carcanus.
Oh, okay.
I do want to read Carcanus.
We
that's-
should
that's
do a
fair.
Carcanus reading group at some point. There's a lot of us on here who haven't.
I'm
Are
down.
you saying we?
Yeah.
Like you're not including me, surely.
You said earlier that you committed to not grading papers and you're going to read Carcanus
Oh, you're right. I
trilogy.
forgot that was on tape. You're right.
Yeah. It's on the internet now.
You're still gonna have a ton of questions, but it'll be interesting to see how the Azathanai are in Carcanus. So yeah.
Okay, so this is interesting. Critical Dragon is saying Elder God equals Azathanai. I thought that was a little not a perfect equal. Like there are some Azathanai who are distinct from the Elder Gods, and Elder God, like they come from different areas.
So an Azathanai doesn't have to be an elder god, but elder gods are all Azathanai.
Is this like one of these square rectangle things? Because I can never remember.
Okay, so answer me this. Where's Bug? Like, where's Bug? Like,
Mail.
has Mail just given up? He doesn't like joy or like fun anymore. He doesn't like anybody.
I think Bug is. I think
whole
Bug
life.
is still there, ruling with, in Lithari, while also Mael is also personified somewhere else.
Could be.
Yeah, because he says he's gonna bring back the art installation for Tehol and Johanna.
Mm.
I think there
Art
is
installation.
a Bug still over there, and then Mael is also in the Azath Underhouse at the same.
Can Bug get a handle on his persona somehow? Like, can he be like, hey, like, are we gonna have? What is stopping Mail from being next book being like, you know what, I changed my mind. Boom, new flood. Like, why? Like,
Flood part.
Problem with gods, Alan.
Yeah.
is there AP? Is there a flood in that third book?
I mean, we're 2 for 2 on floods. I feel like it's a good bet there.
I have to know. Is there a flood in that, or is the flood from Halo in it? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I guess, but I don't know.
Is the flood in The God Is Not Willing the same as the flood in this book? 'Cause
I
I
mean, no,
don't
but it's
think
all
they are.
around
Yeah.
people.
That is a result of Omtos Falak
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fading of Amtos Falak.
failing and the release of all the waters behind the glaciers. And this is Mail being like, I'm
There's
sick of
still a
that.
flood.
Yeah.
Well, it's Mail
Well, it's
being
different, though.
opportunistic, right? Because there's also seepage from Rariku Sea, right? Like
What
that's
a
kind
great
of
word, seepage.
Yeah, the interesting thing though is it is different in character because with The God Is Not Willing, it was a very sudden, violent unleashing of water. This was a slow rising of water, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
definitely a difference there.
What did you all think about Nub?
Johanna, what you want to say? I'll translate for Johanna. What's the point of Nub? Because Johanna thought that Nub was going to go somewhere, and then ended up not understanding what the point of nub was. So I'll translate for Johanna, because I had the same question. So
It's a political commentary.
I have, yeah.
Right. Right.
It's
Andy?
what?
It's a political commentary. No.
Yeah. Yes. You should say yours first. I have a take on it that I think is similar, but
Oh, okay. Well, I won't say too much, but I took nub to be I mean, I'm gonna refrain from comparing him to current world leaders.
Gosh, because there's like some nasty, gross descriptions there. But go on.
But there are definitely, kind of thuggish, autocratically inclined leaders and that we've seen in the world. That Nub kind of reminded me of some of those. But yeah, no, I felt like he certainly thought of himself as being king, right? And his perspective of the Bokarala versus the humans, I thought it was kind of fun as well. The idea that these pet humans are, they're a bit stupid at times, So having that is a bit of comedy, obviously, in there, but at the same time, I feel like there is a serious point behind that perspective. But
yeah, similar, not quite. I didn't take actually the modern political view, but I as a politician on here, I probably should have. But I viewed it as the whole thing again with like trust being understanding something outside of yourself while also having the humility to not quite understand it. And Nub is quite clearly in like a farcical way adding context and story and interpretation that is clearly wrong and self-centered and ridiculous, but
and he declares himself a king.
And very self-serving. But I think not in a way that doesn't often happen in our world, or even in how we interpret the events happening around us. So I think it's like a farcical point for the more serious point.
Guys, we got it here. Here it is. Thank you, AP. Thank you. I knew it. That's what I was going to say.
Now that's on the internet, Philip.
All right.
That's going to be on the wiki.
Look,
put it on the wiki.
Steve just went even further up in my esteem for that. Steve, bless you, sir. Love it. Love to see it. I get that, but I did not get that. Like, y'all's explanation makes sense. I did not get that while I was reading it. I was like, ugh, it's italics. Here comes the block.
Listen, some of us have not had the honor of becoming Malazan characters, Mr. Apto Canavalian. So
yeah, well.
Oh.
Yeah. Look.
We can
Philip,
you
have now. Nub.
I'm not Nub. No,
Speaking of funny book, one of the epigraphs that made me just laugh out loud. It's in chapter 1. The quote is, "Even a god has regrets," and then it says a quote attributed to Shadow Throne, and then parentheses denied. I thought that was great.
That is great.
See, I did read that epigraph, Andy.
I'm so proud of you. And wasn't it worth it?
Was it by Fisher Kelpath? If it wasn't, then I read it.
Oh,
Guys, is there anything else we want to bring up?
Lestera Yale got mentioned. I don't think it was by name.
yeah,
the
the Shadow Dancer. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that was
yeah.
exciting.
yeah.
Oh, also the person that's leading the Talon. Do we think that's Tavor?
Could be.
I had not thought of that until I read someone say it on the internet.
Oh, that
It's
was
a
my
cool
first
theory, but
That
I
was
just
my-
like
Yeah, it was my very first thought. I was like, oh, are we going to see Tavor?
I hope so.
Oh,
I hope so.
That would be amazing. Wow.
Give me
I
that
love
fan
Tavor.
service. I'd love it.
Yeah.
What else? Anybody have any closing thoughts? Anything we did not discuss?
I have a lore question for Philip. Why was the water like steaming at the end in the Azath house?
Oh yeah.
The real answer is I have no idea. But there's power there, I think, and there's just the idea that there's a kind of energy and power coming from that, and it was never going to be a. And okay,
I was going to mention that.
Whales, yep,
Okay.
yep. There were some cool cameos in here. Yeah.
I was going to mention. Can anybody explain how, like, what happens to Liamon? Like, I liked the section of like everything burning, but I didn't know it was Liamon until someone told me, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. But why?
You're gonna
Like-
hate this answer, Alan, but
Which book?
if you read the novels of the Malazan Empire,
Correct.
there
Oh.
is the Leoman quest that is more or less satisfying, and I guess he's just ascended at this point.
Yep.
That's
This is the
short
correct answer. Yep.
Can we here? This is an actual question that Mitch had when he was reading it.
Hmm.
Quick Ben wasn't present at the hill where they defended the crippled god. Sorry, Hasten Thenu said he wasn't, but Quick Ben was there. Is that just a continuity mistake, or is he not Quick Ben?
Or he's just trying to cover himself, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, he could just lie.
Okay, well.
Yeah, also wasn't there. Does that mean the hilltop? Does that mean like the heart? You know, like he could be sly and
Right.
you know be lying.
What do you guys think Shadow Throne's up to, by the way? It seems like
That is a good
Shadow
question.
Throne's still scheming. And I'm like, well, what else is there to do with?
I read the entire first 10 books and had no idea what Shadow Throne was doing at any given time. But after book 1, where they turn Sorry into a murderer, no idea. No clue. I don't for sure know he was doing anything other than running around giggling.
Clearly, they still have an interest in the Malazan Empire, and I don't think that they're big Malik Rel fans either.
I mean, I'm not a big Malik Rel fan, so anything they need to do to go ahead and shank him and get a move on, I'm
Right.
okay with it. Big
You're not a
Malik
fan.
Rel.
He's the Caesar Augustus of the Malazan world.
He's not Caesar Augustus. Get out of here. You know what Augustus never did? Encourage someone to close the doors on his best general. In fact, Augustus was
Oh,
pretty
man.
pissed
I'm sorry,
when Varus
everyone.
lost
So
an
sorry.
entire legion in the freaking forest.
Andy, you just pushed the biggest button ever.
so sorry. But
Malik Rel is not Augustus. Oh my God. Malik Rel might be like Didius
Nero?
Julianus.
Julius, he's clearly Caesar
I
Augustus.
guess this is a really
He's
good
not-
book, by the way.
How is he clearly
He's
Augustus?
the founder,
How is
and
he,
then
he
like,
didn't
takes
take
it.
the throne as a child. He didn't beat Mark Antony. He didn't use his intellect to get it. He was just an opportunist. He's not a brilliant political genius like Augustus alongside his general. Tell me, who's Rel's Agrippa? Who's Rel's general?
I'm not saying it's a
Taurus?
1-to-1, but he is a political genius, right? Like he used some of his moves to become the emperor.
Wait, who did you? Oh, he removed himself.
Oh, he removed himself. Wait, isn't this on his channel?
yeah.
Plastic.
It's on my channel.
Okay. we had control there for a while.
What? What?
I think he might be.
No, AP, I can't let this stand. Malik Rel promoted Incarus. That alone disqualifies him. Like Augustus would never promote someone like Incarus.
Alan,
No,
I think the little
Steve,
laughy faces
Steve,
might
if
be.
you were watching this, Steve, I need you to help me. I need you to below say emphatically, Malik Rel is not Augustus.
It's not 1-to-1, but he's like the one who is bringing like
It's
more
not
political
1 to 1,000,
stability.
Andy. It's not 1 to 1,000.
I'll
Alan,
leave it
my
like
face always hurts when I hang out with you because
I
I
know.
laugh so much.
Yeah, my
Like,
face
I
does
can't even
hurt.
believe what I just heard. Like I'm so
So we talked about Shadow Throne and Malik Rel, but Lysine is mentioned in like a sentence in this book. And did you guys get the feeling that Lysine might be ascending or isn't ascended?
I sure hope not.
I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong, but I think I remember there being like a sentence or two that made me go,
I'm
"Oh,
looking it up now.
I was also wondering about Calor. What's Calor up to?
Yes,
sounds
good
like Calor.
question.
Scene. I love that scene.
oh yeah,
the
that's right.
prologue where he's just burying bodies is very interesting because it does not fit with what we have heard from other people about Calor.
Right.
You need some
And
product.
again, it's another. We should consider some of what happens in past to or in novels of the Malazan Empire when it comes to Calor as well. But that scene with Calor was so, I thought, poignant because our idea of him is he's a villain, right? That he wiped out all these people. He doesn't care. He's horrible. This is a guy in mourning. This is a guy who's been broken. This is a guy who is carrying out a ritual of some kind of trying to cleanse himself. But it's insane, that he's building all these mounds of bones in this. And I just felt, wow, okay, this is a different view of Calor that we get here. Now, that's a very Malazan thing, of course, right?
Yeah.
That we think we know this character. Read novels of Malazan Empire and Passive Ascendancy, and you have a very different view of like Taishren, for example, than you have from
He's
just
the worst.
Yeah, but you won't say that. You won't
He's
say
got-
that.
I've read Return to the Crimson Guard, and I still hate him.
Taishrin gets the best glow up for sure in the novels of the Malazan Empire. I will say that.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I also wanted to bring up. No, I forgot what I was gonna say. Someone say something else. I'll think of it.
okay.
Does Calor do stuff in the novels of the Malazan Empire? Because hashtag Calor did nothing is really where I'm writing. Like Calor just shows up and doesn't do anything.
Well, he does kill Whiskey.
Kills.
Jack.
I was gonna
Whiskey
say,
Jack.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Kills
He does
every
that
person in
one-
his empire.
No. He did that before he ever appeared. Like that is already done. And then he appears, and yes, he fights Whiskey Jack. What does he do all of the other times he hangs out?
That was one of my big letdowns for the Crippled God. Was I really thought Calor was going to be more wrapped up in everything. I was a little sad.
He's too busy getting punked by teenage Andi. That's what he's doing.
Comes back to this every time.
It does. That teenager punches him, like knocks him flat, and he's just like, "Oh." That's what he does.
Alan, has a student of yours ever laid you out?
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm better than Calor. Calor, Shadow Daddy. Oh, I was like, who put that? And then I'm like, it's Jimmy, of course. All right.
Give me.
Jimmy went to the chat to say Shadow Daddy.
Shadow Daddy, indeed.
Did we miss anything?
Oh yeah, for sure. we had to.
Maybe we definitely did, but I have to go to bed in 5 minutes, or I'll
Of
turn.
course. That's why we're closing up. Anybody have any final thoughts? What is I'm hoping that I think that I'm going to re-rate or rethink about No Life Forsaken after part 2 comes out, like because I think it's going to recontextualize everything that happened here, since it is, like you said, one book split into 2 parts. So I'm kind of reserving judgment. I like I said, I really enjoyed really loved the opening, and I enjoyed the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see kind of where it goes. I know it's just passe for everyone to be like, well, I'm excited to see Karsa. I mean, that's true. Like I do really enjoy Karsa. I am excited to see what we finally do with him when or if we ever see him. What about you, Johanna?
I'm excited to read on. I had a good experience with this book, and I'd forgotten how much I love Erikson's writing, because it's been a while since I've read any Malazan. And afterwards, I was longing to read more Erikson again. And so, yeah, I had a good time. We didn't talk about the Sappers, but they were awesome.
Yeah,
And-
they're always awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, you all definitely enriched my perspective of the book as
Same.
well too, which
Especially
I was
with lore.
expecting.
I
Yeah,
never
especially
follow the
stuff in
lore
it.
stuff. Like I try, and I'll get some of it. But I was sitting here, and the only thing I could think of was like, man, this series is so sick. Like that's all I could think is because like connecting dots that I haven't connected. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
you really could just read these books only, and be experiencing new stuff each time, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Amazing.
I always learn more that I stuff is explained to me when I talk to other people about it. Just stuff that I just don't get.
Yeah.
Philip, what about you? What are you looking forward to? Closing thoughts?
I don't know. AP said he's looking forward to more ochre, but I thought Stephen
Always.
Erikson deliberately avoided the word ochre several times. Actually,
Not potsherds.
Did he have a word in this one? Did anyone catch like the word that he used a lot? I don't think there was one particular one.
The
There were moments when he could have used ochre, but he didn't. I think
Pull
he's making a
crude.
mistake. Yeah,
Pull crude.
yeah.
What
No,
about you?
I loved it. Looking forward to whatever he writes. I'll get it. I'll read it and talk about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to the next book. My fiance pointed out that we're like following Karsa's journey, which I probably may be obvious, but I'm looking forward to the eventual Darujistan showdown.
Ganabakis.
Is that? Do we know where book 3 takes place? Is it Ganabakis
you have to
again?
go to Lether.
It's
at some
seven
point.
city. It's 7 cities again.
It's Marines.
It's what the Legion is doing while this happens.
Gotcha.
Erikson has said
The
that.
Legion that's leaving, that's being recalled. That one.
Yeah, it's called Legacies of Betrayal.
Oh,
Because
nice.
Dunsparrow is out there, right?
Yeah, it's Dunsparrow's like cohort and their mission.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on. I'm excited about that.
That'll
Yeah,
I
that'll
didn't
be
know
really cool.
I think that'll kind of like finish off what like you said, Alan started at the beginning here.
Do you think we see any Lether or no?
I thought we would.
Karsa
I
did go to
thought we
Leather.
would.
Never mind. Yeah, so that would make sense if we're reflecting. But
He was there.
Dang.
Yeah.
This ain't no 4 books. It's got to be like 5.
That's what I was saying. Like I started thinking about, I'm like, we could easily have another 10-book series on our hands. And could you imagine a 10-book series that are like 500 pages each? Be so
Amazing.
awesome.
Jimmy
No
called it.
complaints
I
here.
think Jimmy called it first. I think it's happening.
Look,
You do? You think it's happening like a 10-book series?
Well,
Maybe not.
more than 4 or 5.
Even the naming convention, the way it's started now, the second Tale of Witness is like you could go a long ways with like the way that naming convention is.
And I don't feel like tired of it either. I'm
No.
actually like
Mhm.
super excited about it. And Joan, I agree. When I was reading this book, I was like, man, Erikson's such a good writer. And I've been reading a lot of mid lately. And I was just like, I need to raise my standards.
And I don't think anybody can complain about a book overstaying its welcome when they're sub 500 pages.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Do you think, could you see a world where like The God Is Not Willing and No Life Forsaken could be in one book, but just like separated by parts?
Well, I don't know if God Is Not Willing and No Life Forsaken take place at the same time, or if one
Yeah.
is right after the other.
No,
That's true.
Hmm.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
know.
true.
Yeah, I don't know. To finish off, I would say one thing that we haven't talked about that I really loved about this, and part of it I think is the length, is this has been, I think, the most fun Erikson book release I've ever had, where I
Mhm.
feel like it happens. All my friends are reading it. Like I'm talking about it on Discord. Like there's like a Malazim Reddit, and like everyone is kind of doing it at the same time. I think it's because it's the length, and I think it's because it's like, I don't know, more people. I think there's been
We're wrapping up,
critical
Philip.
mass. It's been great. I've loved it. Bye, Philip.
Good night.
Night.
That is unbelievable.
Wow, he was really serious about 8:30, guys. I thought it was
Wow.
I've never seen anything like that. Like, Philip, we're wrapping up. Like, right now.
He literally went.
maybe he turns into Nub at 8:31.
He probably has a One Piece stream.
There you go.
Anyway, Andy, I agree with you because I'm someone that I'm always outside like the major releases,
Yeah.
which is like Red Rising. I was the last one, and then Cosmere, of course, like
Yeah.
Stormlight, right? And so I was happy to be involved, to be included in the stuff. AP is the good guy confirmed.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Even Philip, thank you for being here.
Well, he's not really here anymore, so
No, I know, but he really like it's 7:31.
Can I mention something real fast before we leave?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Mitch brought it up, and I was thinking about this. Erikson read a section, and I can't remember where it was, if it was my channel or
It was on. Yes, I was in that discussion with you, and
yeah.
it was.
And he read the section. It was really good, but it wasn't in this book.
No, I think it was, wasn't it? Because it wasn't it. Now I want to go back and find it because I'm
I thought
pretty
it was
sure.
like the sores, like because it was like from riding a wagon,
Oh, you're right.
and I compared it to hearing about truckers talk about it because I used to work at a truck stop,
You're right.
and I don't think that's in this book at all.
You're right.
Oh.
So
now I gotta go
uh,
rewatch that stream.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
be in book 3, I guess.
I'm excited for book 3. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. Philip, if you watch the last 3 minutes of the stream back, thank you for being with us also. It is in the next book, confirmed by AP.
Okay.
Love that cat, Andy. All right, guys.
Oh,
This is
so
Callie.
cool.
Well, y'all have a good night.
Thank
And
you.
chat, thanks for joining us. Go read Malazan if you haven't.
Say bye to everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
If you haven't, I don't know.